Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, begins his first full week in office today. And that was at the culmination of a heated impeachment process against Rigathi Gachagua. He has also been speaking, and we'll be listening to what he has been saying in as far as what has befallen him. But Mheshimiwa Keynan, what do you make of the affairs that you have witnessed the past 6 or so weeks? And also that commitment by Professor Kindiki, because we have heard that before. Indeed, Rigathi Gachagua committed to the president that he would be loyal and to give him counsel to help him deliver on the agenda of the presidency. He said it in more eloquent terms than I have. But if
thank you so much. I think we need to go back to, first of all, to understand both the letter and the spirit of the current constitution, and historically the role of any vice president or deputy president. In the current context, or under the current constitution, we have, even when they came together, it must have been in the form of a president, a presidential candidate, and a running mate. And that is what the framers of the current constitution had in mind. Meaning, therefore, even before you get a running mate, you must do a bit of an interview. You must look at the chemistry. You must look at, that, you must dissect that person and come and get a person who will align with your thoughts, who will not be of different political philosophy. And therefore, when we have had a president and deputy president, under the current, that formed the presidency. So what missed over the last 2 years is these two individuals were not reading from the same script. Actually, it's like we didn't even know who was the boss, who was the deputy, who was the principal assistant, who was given instructions, and we got so many contradictory statements, some in the form of threats, some in the form of information. And therefore, what Professor Kindiki comes to and begins with, first of all, these are two PhD holders. So in the academic world, or in the academia world where they are right now, you expect certain appreciations of norms and respect and civility on how things are done. Now, what Professor Kindiki, taking into account where we were and what we went through, is reassuring his boss first. He's reassuring his boss, who is the President of the Republic of Kenya, that he's going to be a loyal, functioning, principal assistant, not an antagonistic deputy president. That's the first. Two, is also assuring the nation that he is not going to be cantankerous in the way things have been over the last 2 years, and therefore he is going to be a man of immense civility on how he conducts his public affairs. Three, he's also assuring the people of Mount Kenya that notwithstanding what has happened, he's going to be a man of all seasons, and he's going to stand and unite that particular region. Equally, it's also assuring the international community that, look, Kenya...
When did he say he's going to unite the region?
You see, look at the message. The message is loaded. Look at that message. When you say you are going to be loyal, it doesn't mean that loyalty will only be limited to the president. That loyalty now encompasses everything. And then the other bit is government exists in perpetuity. And therefore, even as he does...
Mheshimiwa Keynan, part of the reason why you impeached Rigathi Gachagua is because he appeared to propagate the affairs of Mount Kenya region more than the Republic.
You see, and I wish you had allowed me to say this. You see, there has been a lot of theories that this region is being targeted, so-and-so is being targeted, I'm going to my village, I'm going to do this. This is about the national affairs of the Republic of Kenya, and that is the essence of having the deputy president. Look at the presidency. The presidency is the president, the deputy president, isn't it? It's not, and they are tied at the hips. So what the professor was doing is the starting point. It's called the first impression impact in psychology. First impression impact, sir, you have gone through challenges. Even the president himself admitted that over the last 2 years, he had difficulties. Difficulties, first of all, in implementing the government decision, in making public pronouncement, in lacking somebody who will be outside there other than himself to go and put the government policies in perspective. So if what Professor Kindiki did actually was the right thing. Okay. Sir, you have had challenges. Sir, your deputy was removed. Sir, maybe the chemistry might have been contradictory. I am here as a loyal Professor Kindiki. That's the first. Two, constitutionally, I'll be working under you with your guidance. And remember, being loyal first to the president, being loyal to the people of Kenya, being loyal to the constitution, and even being loyal to yourself, because at the end of the day, you have also a conscience. And I think that's what he was trying, and any other person will have done. That is called the entry point. First, impression, impact. He has done it very well. What remains next? Look at the history. What were the pitfalls and the challenges of his predecessor? How did we end up where we are right now, or where things have ended up until that impeachment process. That path must also be avoided. How can it be avoided? By being familiar with the pitfalls. And I think that's what the professor has done. And finally, this, remember, when you are elected, this is not Kindiki, the candidate. It's not Ruto, the candidate. It is Ruto, the president of the Republic of Kenya, the 50 million plus. He's going to be the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, you have to shed off certain traits and ensure that you are a person who carries the image of the Republic of Kenya. And that's the one thing that has been missing.
All right, please carry on, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you. Before you respond to your question, you know, in Parliament there's something called filibustering. Filibustering.
That's what you are doing.
Just like there's filibustering actually all over the world, especially when you don't want a particular debate to end. What our friends wanted to do in the impeachment process was something called legal filibustering, or call it judicial gerrymandering. But I think the court
have gone for full
but I think just to be fair, because regardless of the merits and the demerits of the conservatory orders that we have seen all over, whether they are procured through expert orders or interpreted orders, I think we just leave it there because it's unfair to make the judiciary as a subject of discussion in this particular media discussion. I beg to differ with that. We allow them. That's why we have institutional separations of role. Let them do what they want to do. And we have ties. If Rigji and cohort are not satisfied with that particular ruling, I'm sure they have the Court of Appeal and ultimately the Supreme Court. I think we just leave it there. And we have all to accept this. Now, coming back to the issue that we have asked, now that we have the new kid of the block, the Honorable Professor Abraham Kindiki. Luckily, for the first time in the history of this country, we have two PhD holders. One as the president, the other one as the deputy president. In the academic world, whether you call them in the academic world or in the academia world, and I think they qualify in both. We expect certain things. And I think I like the way the president has put it. We have challenges, serious challenges. We have a challenge, serious challenges. We have issues concerning, first of all, they have to think of who's going to be the next interior CS and bring a competent CS to handle that critical docket. Two, in the next few months, we'll be having the budget policy statement. We have had this economic turmoil as a result of what has happened. We need to deal with it. I believe as part of the national menu, we have the Raila AU candidature. I think it's one of the things that we must deal with as a country. We have the issue of serious corruption incident, which the president has again alluded to, which we must deal with so that we avoid wastages. And two, and more fundamentally, we have the issue of national unity, because we have a country. We have one, and I want to refer you to this, my brother. Look at two things. Where is this? The first is the preamble. The preamble of our current constitution. And the framers of the current constitutions were not fools. They say, we the people of Kenya, acknowledging the supremacy of the Almighty God of all creation, honoring those who heroically struggle to bring freedom and justice to this. Proud, this is the bit, proud of our ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity. Determined to live in peace and unity as one indivisible sovereign nation. And this is the gist. I'm elected from a constituency, but I also come from a community. That community is part of the national mosaic that constitutes the sovereign Republic of Kenya. So whatever that I do must reflect that national thinking. And that's why I've had a problem with those of us who are mesmerized with village politics, with villagers, with ethnic cocoons, with tribal profiling. And remember, those great Kenyans who fought for this country before independence, taking into account our history as a nation, and all of us are familiar with the basic history of the Republic of Kenya. When we proclaimed our independence, we did not proclaim our independence as ethnic communities. We proclaim our independence.
Keynan, to be fair, villagers have no problem. Villagers are just people living in a
I'm coming to the point. So one of the roles of the deputy president,
yeah,
and that's the bit I'm coming to, of the Republic of Kenya, the Honorable Professor Abraham Kindiki. And those of us who have gone to Moi University were told, outside the academic platform, and I'm sure you're also one of the products, please remain humane. That's one of the things, remain humane. So meaning therefore, outside the powers and privileges,
yes,
we expect Professor Kindiki to assist the president first,
okay,
in uniting the country. That's number one. Two, in assisting the president and the people of Kenya in realizing their aspirations. Their aspirations in what? We want Kenya to develop, to join the League of Developed Nations.
All right.
And that cannot just be a theoretical wish.
All right.
We need national unity.
Yes.
We need economic recovery. We need to deal with the corruption. We need to deal with the budgetary deficit. I like the way the Honorable Mbadi has just the other day put it. He says there are more resources in this country that we can tap into than lining up and begging the IMF and the World Bank. I think these are practical challenges that we must all accept and face. So Professor Kindiki, where you are, we expect you to be a unifier. We expect you to be a go-getter. We expect you to be loyal. We expect you to go beyond your village and become the deputy president of the 47 plus tribes of Kenya. Right. We expect you to be loyal to the appointing authority. The appointing authority in two ways: the president and the institutions and the people of Kenya through the constitution.
All right.
Through the constitution.
That's fine.
And that is the only way we can all appreciate. Yes.
Let's transition.
Yes.
I just wanted
to... may I take this opportunity, first of all, to wish all the KCSE candidates best of luck. I know this is a very difficult time when they have to put into writing all the educational concepts, theories that they have learned over the last 12 years. That notwithstanding, in northern Kenya generally, I think historically, we have been disadvantaged because of lack of infrastructure, because of security concerns, because of many other disruptions. But I think likely things have been normalizing, and I hope of late students have been doing fairly very well. But generally speaking, education is the key component in any country's development. And we as Kenyans, we have been lucky because we have been voted the best as human resource capital because of our resilient and competent education. And this is one thing, that one trademark that we must not lose. And I think you are aware, over the 2 consecutive years actually, we have earned that reward from the UN, none other than the UN, and because of our education. So once again, we must all be prepared as citizens, as parents, as leaders, to support a seamless, corruption-free education system that will earn the students what they qualify for, not what is cooked. What they qualify for, that will give them an opportunity later on to benefit from the pecuniary gains of education. And that is the only way we can have a society where everybody gets what one works for in education. And so my best wish, please don't cheat, please don't venture into any other venues, sit down, compose, and I'm sure at the end of the day, you will get that unique grade that you have worked for, and that's what will take you to the next stage. Whether you will join tertiary institutions, whether you will join university, whether you will do other activities, because at the end of the day, education is not the end of one's life. You can venture into so many other things.
Right, and